Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Rebel Crow Psychic Show with your host, Athena Silver.
And I'm Anja River.
We want to welcome you guys. Tonight we're kind of going off script. We're both having crazy days. The energy is crazy. So we figured we're going to do a chit-chatting episode. Tonight we're going to talk about a fan suggested topic. We'll get into that in a minute. We'll talk about our different quarantine experiences and our practices, our spiritual practice during this time of lockdown and pandemic, and how we've been trying to keep ourselves sane. And we hope you guys enjoy, big sure.
Sorry.
Huh? Nah, girl. It's your turn. What you want to talk about?
I was going to add, and why we might be feeling universally kind of off, because there's a piece in there about that.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I want to say I've been feeling such a throat chakra malfunction going on, the past, I would say 2 days, but today it really peaked. Nothing what I'm thinking and saying is coming out properly. People are just not receiving it the right way. The energies just feel like fragmented and crazy.
Right. We're also at this time when we're recording, it was the new moon 2 days ago.
Yes.
So that's probably part of it.
And I did a major working with the new moon this cycle. For me, I was doing a very big release. The last cycle on the full moon, I had done a releasing ceremony as well. So I wanted to do a supplemental releasing ceremony. And, I'm not going to get into what exactly I did, but ever since the other 2 days ago when I did the ceremony, I have went through and cleaned my house and thrown out so much stuff. Like my refrigerator looks naked. I got rid of all of the pictures and junk on the front of it and got rid of everything and organized it.
You have pictures? All your pictures? Where'd they go? What'd you do with them?
They're on the side of the fridge now.
Oh,
but they used to be random and scattered and stuff, I had stuff on there from when I first moved into the house. I'm like, why is this here? I went through and just purged the house, and I'm gonna, in the next couple of days, once I finish, I'm gonna then go through and light a white fire and clean the house with a white fire. For those of you who are not familiar with Curanderismo and the practice of Mesoamerican and Caribbean folk healing practices, a white fire is used very similar to how you sage a house, except that you in like a pot, you put a handful of Epsom salt, some rubbing alcohol, and some dry herbs. I use rosemary primarily to do my white fires in the house. It's a technique that I picked up from my favorite curandera author. Her name is Erika Buenaflor. She has an awesome brand new book out. It just came out this month. It's amazing. I'm gonna be doing a book review on it. And actually, maybe we can do that on one of the next couple of episodes.
Yeah, sure.
She is such a wealth of information. Like, this is her third book that just came out this month, which has to do with the shamanic rites for the sun and the moon, different Mexica and Mayan practices for like working with the sun and the moon. Her last book, Curanderismo, Soul Retrieval, was excellent. Yeah. Her first book, though, was my favorite. Which has to do with Olympias, which is spiritual cleansings. And that's where the white fire technique came from. So I really look up to her. She's a great teacher, and I've been taking some of her classes. So shout out to Miss Erika. We love you, Mama. Your work is amazing.
It's like sage, you know, like you're getting out the negative energy.
Well, when you light the white fire, it scatters the energy and sucks it in and purifies it. It's very strong smelling. I like to do it. I typically do it after major cleansings, or especially if I have done a spiritual cleansing or have gotten one done on me. I will then go in and purify the house as well. So I like to do the house first, and then I get my spiritual cleansing to make sure that I'm not having any residual energy like absorbed within my aura.
Right.
But it's good to do for your house, because you know your house is like it's like the cauldron for your energies. You know, it just whatever you put in it, it stays and it circulates, and
it's not just
gotta clean it out.
Whoever's there in the house with you too. So it's just this like murky.
Yeah. Especially if you have any kind of toxic relationship in families, or you know, even friendships. It stays in there and it just cycles into people's auras, and it's just, you want to clean that out, especially if you have young children. You know, you want to make sure they're sleeping properly and stuff like that. And
I am so overdue for some sage or some kind of cleansing in the house. It's been longer than I want to admit to.
I try to do it pretty regularly because I do work out of my home from time to time, not since quarantine, but I really got in the habit of it, having people, you know, clients coming in and being read in my home. You know, I'm very inattentive about saging people before they come in. This way I know. Huh?
You do it outside?
Yep. Outside. I will greet you outside and say, do you mind if I sage you? Light it up, sage them real quick, sage myself, and everybody comes inside. It's a way to regulate the energies that are coming in, because my children live here and my family's here, and I want to make sure that not only is the client protected, but my family is protected. So it's not the personal to anybody. You just get an added bonus again, a quick little cleansing with your reading.
It feels good. It actually really, you know, like from the client's perspective, it should really shift them into that, okay, this is a sacred space. Now I'm getting a reading, you know, like it really does switch your energy.
It does. And I notice it helps a lot with people who are nervous and have nervous energy, because it neutralizes it and calms them down. So when they do come through the barrier into my home, they feel like they're stepping into a calm, relaxing, sacred space.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So what you want to talk about tonight, girl? Since we're just kind of chit-chatting, doing our thing, you know, what's on your mind?
I just thought it was so funny that we both had this like elaborate thing planned for tonight. Like super elaborate. Like I've got pages on pages on pages, but
me too.
I can't speak today. It's not coming out. So, you know, have some patience with me, I guess, right?
Me too.
The moon, as of this recording, the moon, like we said, was the new moon.
Well, it's waxing crescent tonight,
but like a couple days ago.
Yes.
And then Saturn went back into Capricorn. It's retrograding right now. So there's a big, you know, see, I feel like most of my issues are vocal and my words coming out. So it's very like Mercury, you know, but I don't know. Saturn is a really powerful planet. You know, it's Chronos, father time. You know, Saturn has to do with you know, all of the things that make us human, the limitations, the death, taxes. You know?
Well, I've noticed. I'm for those of you that don't know, I'm a Capricorn, so Saturn is my ruling planet. And for me, I've noticed that, you know, I feel like I'm not in my right space right now. I feel like on every level, I don't feel like my feet are in the right spot, you know? And I feel like it's an energetic thing. It's like everything's scattered. All the vibrations are scattered. And it's like they keep rippling out as I go through life, you know? So.
Oh, hey, the moon is in Virgo, and that's my favorite time. I love when the moon's in Virgo. I get, since I'm an Aquarius, I'm kind of messy.
Yeah, it explains my cleaning habits too. I'm a Capricorn,
Virgo.
super OCD.
Yeah, Virgos and Capricorns are both kind of similar with like the simple home, simple, clean, efficient, right? Like not a lot of simple, clean, and efficient. And when the moon goes into Virgo, I can feel it without even I know where the moon is usually. I can feel it coming. I'm like, I gotta organize that cabinet. I gotta get rid of all my stuff. Hire a dumpster. It's time to get rid of everything.
For real. And it's funny because I just woke up yesterday and as soon as I opened my eyes, I'm like, I just got to clean this house. Oh my God, it's disgusting. It's just like something just went off and I was like, I just got to do this, you know? Well, and I also notice on an energetic level, like I haven't really been feeling that good from a pain perspective. For those of you don't know, I have rheumatoid arthritis and fibromyalgia, two chronic pain conditions. And for me, I noticed that different moon phases affect my body differently. And anytime I get anywhere near the new moon or the full moon, I'm at peak pain. It's very strange.
Fortunately, don't have to deal with that. So I have no idea what that's about, but that's interesting to know. And I'm sorry, that sucks for twice in the month. Peak
at least I know when it's time to set candles. I heard. Oh, full moon, definitely.
Oh my God. Speaking of moon, what is going on Witch Talk?
Oh, okay. So to get into that, so this is a topic suggestion from a fan. Her name is Harley. She's a cute little girl. We know her. She reached out to me the other day with a topic suggestion, and she sent me a bunch of videos. And she said, "What the hell is going on? Can you make sense of this? What's your take?" She's like, if I'm going to ask anybody, I'm curious to know what you have to say. So I was like, okay. So I watched them. Now, for all of you who are, 15 and under, I'm sure you have seen the videos. Older folks.
We're basically elder millennials.
Yes. All right. Elder millennials. I like to be called the OGs. So for us OGs, it's on TikTok. There's a bunch of people saying that they're putting hexes on the moon and hexing the fae. When I first saw it, I was like, hold on, what? You're doing what?
I read some articles and they were like, even like mainstream articles were like, baby witches are hexing the moon. What is going on?
And I'm like, dude, they were baby witches. Like, you are messing up your life for no reason. So basically my response, I went through and I looked at a bunch of different ones, a bunch of different people and what they were saying. And there was a lot of people, putting their 2 cents in, saying why this wasn't working and how crazy it is and whatever. For what it's worth, my 2 cents is to me, I don't hate on anybody's practice. That just out the gate, I don't think anybody's stupid, but I do think that there's some bad information here, or no information here is really what I think it is. It's just the lack of information that these kids, for lack of a better term, don't understand how things work. They don't understand not just what deities and entities they're working with, but even how the universe is structured. Trying to hex the fae is like, they deal with misfortune and luck and abundance and and prosperity. You're cutting your legs off.
I don't want any fae. I don't want to mess with any fae.
Well, the thing is, the fae are very fickle. If you disrespect, they will let you know. And don't just think, if I mess up in Ireland and come back to the United States, I'll be fine. They'll follow you. They're everywhere. They're nature spirits, you know. So when you're cursing any deity, first of all, you can say whatever you want. What you can't hex this thing. It is bigger than you. It's badder than you. You know. You can flip it off. You can say all sorts of nonsense to it. That's fine. But what you're doing is you're opening up yourself to incur wrath. You know, you're opening up to have all of your energy lines crossed. So if you were getting ready for that big promotion, guess what? You're going to be, you know, going to the unemployment line instead. Or,
my biggest issue is with this is why. Like, I haven't seen anybody explain
me neither.
Why this was a good idea to some, you know, and what was the intended result. Like,
see, that's, you put that, make an interesting point. I cannot find an answer there. I have not, and not for a lack of trying. I have looked. I really think it is uninformed people talking craziness and acting like they know what they're doing. And I think that it's also like a conspiracy kind of thing. You know, people trolling people, you know.
What do you mean? Like maybe it was fake?
Yeah. I kind of got that vibe a little bit watching these videos. Like, people are trying to start a problem that's not really there.
Yeah.
You know,
I thought did cross my mind. Maybe it's because everything feels like you need to analyze it more.
That's that 2020 bullshit.
Yeah, like extra analyzing. See, my words are just not coming.
Yeah.
So that thought did cross my mind too, and I'm wondering.
It felt synthetic.
Yeah.
You know,
like something about it just, like, I just don't get it. Like, I don't understand why anybody would think that, like, what we get out of it. Not even just that it's a bad idea, but what do you get out of that?
It's those flat earthers getting mad that nobody's not believing them. That's just my hot take.
That's what you think?
That's my hot take. Well, because, like, do the flat earthers believe in the moon, or do they think that that's like a spaceship or something?
I don't know.
I believe the earth is round, but what do I know? You know?
Who knows, right? I mean,
I think it's some conspiracy theory kind of thing. And I think it's a bunch of bored kids who obviously do not read books, or, you know, or they're confused. You know, like, we've got to remember and keep in the mindset, all of us, especially us older practitioners and people who've been walking spiritual paths for a long time, we had to start somewhere. You know, I'll even say it myself. There have been times where I've made mistakes in my spiritual practice or in my spiritual beliefs. You know what? You get corrected, you take the correction, and you keep walking. You know, you keep working.
And it's a long road too. You know,
yeah.
So there's a lot of opportunity to make mistakes and to grow, and you're always growing.
But that's where the growth is coming from. The most times when you really make a mistake, that's when you grow the most, because you want to correct it and then some. And I think that, you know, bringing all of this stuff up, you know, first of all, why would you hex the moon? You know, what has Celine ever done to you?
The moon is like our biggest ally.
And if you're a woman, you draw a lot of power and strength from her. She's in your corner.
Yeah.
So I just think it's a lot of misinformed people. I think that there's an element of conspiracy there and fakeness. And I think that, you know, people are bored. They're at home. They're bored. They haven't been out of the house. They're not really hanging with friends. You know, this is boredom bullshit, you know. Yeah. But I think it's a moment where we need to teach each other instead of, you know, chastising each other. Because, you know, we all make mistakes. We were young once. You know, there's times where you thought you could substitute that and it messed up the whole thing, or you said the wrong incantation or the wrong prayer or put out the wrong offering. You learn, you live and you learn. But when it comes to hexing, I feel that is not something you play with unless you know what you're doing, because there's a lot of karmic repercussions that come from throwing things against people. Now, some traditions do not feel that way, and listen, everybody's right in one way or another, but from my perspective, I feel like throwing anything against another human has to be done in a very, very structured and case by case basis. You can't just throw something on somebody just because you want fun.
I don't think it should be about personal vengeance either. I mean, I don't judge anybody who does, but I feel like for me to do something like that to someone, and I haven't ever in my life, but I could, and it would be from a place of like, oh, this is maybe a bigger issue that's beyond me, I don't know.
And a lot of times there's other ways to address it. You can find their power. You can make them powerless. You can, you can make them invisible to you or cut ties from them. There's so many other ways to affect that person without hurting them.
It's like the last scenario.
Yeah. Like if it was really that much of an affront and you're willing to take on bad karma for it, then do what you got to do. No judgment here. But from a personal perspective, I just don't feel the need to do that. That's just not where I'm at. I would rather turn it inward and figure out why I feel funky about that situation.
Right.
Because 9 times out of 10, there's something going on with you to have the reaction that you had against that other.
Yeah, be a karmic relationship that you have.
True. Or they can return energy to sender and you incur your own hex. That happens. It's a game it's a fickle game that doesn't need to be played. It's petty as hell. If somebody really does mess with you that way, then yeah, do what you got to do. But to just play around with it, to me, I don't see the value in it, but that's just my personal belief I don't hate anybody who feels differently, So the next thing I wanted to get into, and I figured I'd ask you, is how has your lockdown quarantine experience been from spiritual side of things? What have you been up to?
From a spiritual standpoint? Well, I just think it's funny because lockdown for us is not that much different from regular time.
I know.
Honestly,
yeah, we're a bunch of homebodies.
Ways. I have reasons. One of my kids, but yeah, it hasn't been too much different. It was funny because in the beginning, I was feeling all this like every night at 3 a.m. I would get woken up. Mm-hmm. We're going through this great change. Actually, I'm going to just switch around. I had a dream a couple of weeks ago about the end of the world. And I woke up feeling, and I was in it, and there was like an asteroid coming, like we all knew it was coming. And I woke up feeling so good and so calm and so happy. Like it was just such a great gift to have that dream, because it's like we're going through this incredible time of transformation, and to be given this dream of like, there was a lot to it, and there was more at the end where, there was a new universe set up, and we were a part of that universe. It's like the threads that wove together that universe. And, I'm not taking this dream literally. I'm just saying I feel like it was such a gift, because it was like everything that's happening right now, you're going to weather, and you're going to be a part of the new world. So yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing.
The symbolism that you're talking about definitely screams new beginnings, new paths, going on down a different path and starting something new. You're like a force for change, but in a positive way.
It was incredible. And I've started working with a new planet. I'm not going to talk about, You don't
need to, just give us the highlights, the cliff notes, baby.
And a new planet. I added some things to my ancestor altar, and I'm using it more regularly. I'm giving offerings. How do you feel about this? I got a question for you.
Sure.
So I actually reduced my drinking by a ton during quarantine.
Right on. Right on.
Yeah. I still drink, but I've reduced it by like almost everything. And I have all these like liquor bottles in my cabinet underneath my altar, and I was going to throw them out, and I was like, no, I'm going to give them as offerings. And then I thought, is that bad that I was going to throw them out? What do you think? I was going to throw them out, so it wasn't like I specifically bought them for the ancestors.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, I can still use this and offer it to them.
Yeah,
you see my dilemma? Like, it was something that I was going to throw away, and
they're telling you, hold on, that's the good stuff. Don't pour that down the drain.
Maybe I need to think about it like that. Like, I was about to throw it away, and then the ancestor that I was working with was like, why can't I have it?
Yeah, for real. Like, you're gonna throw away perfectly good booze? What the hell?
Yeah, because it wasn't something that I specifically, went out and got for them, and so it made me feel like a little bit like, is this wrong? I don't know if this is wrong.
No. Somebody said something, so
And I got a nice glass, and I put it over ice and everything, and made it like pretty.
Aw, you gave her a cocktail.
Yeah.
Well, because I know your ancestors personally, was it one of ours?
I was working with someone on my mom's side today.
Oh, well, we're not connected that way, but your mom's side, they like to party too, so I get it.
Yeah, and it was nice. I mean, it was tough because during quarantine, like, you've got your kids at home, if you've got kids.
Yep.
And, the house is always buzzing, which is wonderful, but I find myself in a really difficult position of, like, when I'm trying to do a working, like I was doing a working today, I have everything lit, and then the kids come over and they just jump on you, you're trying to sit and connect, and there's really never any, like, clear space for me particularly to do that. I have a younger kid, I have a younger child, and so there's no, like, separation at this point. We can't just go to our room and shut the door. So that's been a little bit tough, but it's also been amazing, just like how much more, we were home before, we were homeschoolers, but I don't know, I've been connecting with them more on a deeper level because, everything is really scary right now, and it kind of shocks you back into what's really important. And I kind of, like, notice that, I tend to do too many things at once, and, I just want to slow down and, like, have really deep eye contact with them and play and do fun things. So I consider that a spiritual shift, even though
Definitely.
physical shift, I feel like that has been a huge spiritual shift, like opening up the channels between the ancestors and my children as well, because I'm doing these offerings in front of them. I'm trying to, like, lightly get them involved,
Well, with those offerings, you're not just impacting the ancestors, you're impacting them as well, because
that's what I mean.
Blood with them. Yeah. So you're healing for them. It's beautiful.
It was great. How about you? What's going on your end?
So I have to say, I've been having a renaissance for myself. It feels like a massive enlightenment shift.
Wow.
It was long coming. It's a lot of things I've been asking for a really long time happened to just come to fruition and manifest during quarantine. One thing in particular was I've been asking for a mentor and a teacher for a particular topic. And I've been looking for, I would say, about 2 years for a teacher, and just the right person. And my thing was, I was asking them, can you please send me the right person? Can you make it affordable? Can you and make sure I have the money for it? And it just happened, I happened to take a class online. This particular teacher's on the West Coast. And it's one of those things. I wrote her, I typed up an email, sent it out, and I said, listen, I'm looking for a little bit of guidance. If you wouldn't mind, giving me a reading. It started out that way, and I wound up taking a bunch of her classes, and it's been really nice. She's been mentoring me here and there, and it's been really rewarding. It's definitely opened up a completely other side of my practice, and it's definitely given me a lot more validation that I'm on the right path. I definitely, it confirmed that I'm meant to be on the folk healing path. That's really where my true calling is that shamanic folk healing path. Being very close to nature. I've been, speaking of nature, I've been gardening like a crazy old lady with unlimited funds.
Me too. And my babies are getting so big.
Yeah.
So
And
I actually started harvesting the other day, which is
nice.
awesome. A little late, but we had a late start.
Yeah.
But the mint is out of control.
Oh yeah. It's the gardening has brought me and my youngest son really close together this year. We formed a gardening club.
Oh,
yeah. So he goes, all right, Mom, we gotta go weed. We gotta go fertilize the plants and give them Miracle Grow and water them and stuff. And he's now starting to know, like, he keeps asking me like, what is this plant? What does it do? And so now he's like, oh, Mom, you got to water, the herba buena, we're going to use it for tea. And he's like, and you can use it for magic and money. And I was like, yes, you
can. He knows everything. My youngest is actually getting into the gardening too.
Yeah.
She waddles over. She's only 2, but she waddles over with the gardening gloves and she's like, a garden. But then she goes to my houseplants and digs up all the soil and throws it on the floor.
That's cute though.
Okay, so if I ever look really tired, YouTube viewers, it's because I am.
Yeah, for real. You got 2 high energy kids too.
Just throwing all the dirt all over my house.
Yeah.
But she wants to garden. She thinks she's gardening. It's cute.
It is. That's how I started out with my youngest. I would let him dig the holes, and then I would transplant the plants in or put the seeds in, whatever we were doing. Yeah. I also I agree with you when it comes to the closeness of family. I've gotten a lot closer to my children and my husband during this time. Not like we were never close before. We were, but in a different way, especially with my kids. We have this thing that I have a couple of books that are about different Native American stories, and they like when I read them the different Native American stories. I read them one the other day about the turtles when they went on the warpath, and my kids were like, Mom, we can't eat turtle soup. Turtles are going to go on a warpath and fight back and try to hurt us. We can't eat turtles.
Do they eat soup in the book?
Huh?
In the story? Do they eat turtle soup in the story?
In the story that the tribe were overeating the turtles, and the turtles just had enough and went on a warpath and went in there and like killed a bunch of people.
You should post the name of this
I will post the name of the story. It's a very good story. I'll even post the name of the book. It's funny, this book came to me. I ordered a different book, and this book was sent to me instead, and it's a wonderful book about getting in touch with nature and nature signs and different stories within the nature signs. It's a really great book.
Nice.
And so lunchtime, my children and I will, I'll make them lunch. We'll go outside and we'll eat lunch together, and we'll read from I have a couple of different books, but this book in particular, the one that came by accident, that's the book this one came from. And so they just are like, hey, Mom, read about, blue jays, or read about owls, or read about ants, so I'll look up in the book and I'll read the story from the book. And I've noticed that they're getting closer to nature now through these stories. We've also been learning the different signs from the trees. If the leaves look like this, it means this, or if they look like that, it means this, or if you see these 2 birds together on this branch, it means this. So it's helping them understand the natural world around them and to get acquainted with it.
That's what being a witch is all about, right? Like, it's just making me think of the whole witch talk thing. Like, witches, pay attention. We need to learn about nature and be reverent in nature.
Yes. Well, nature, these the plants and the animals can tell you a lot about what's going to happen and what's going on.
Yeah.
I met another spiritual guide this quarantine as well.
Yeah.
An animal spirit that I never came across before, and this visitor has been coming back every single day since, and
Oh my gosh.
and getting deeper acquainted and making offering and, you know, trying to make connection has been really special. I feel like I needed this time to pause and to reevaluate my life. You know, I've done a lot of deep thinking during this quarantine about where I want to go and what I want to do with the rest of my time here on Earth. You know, I realized that my children are my biggest expression of love and of art, and they're my legacy. And if I want to leave a big impact, I need to leave it through them.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So, you know,
So beautiful.
I'm trying to build healthy people, healthy, well-rounded, respectful people.
Yeah.
It's not easy, you know, but I feel, you know, it's been nice getting to know them better, understanding what's going on in their little brains and how they see the world, you know, because they're very unique and special people and very different. You know, so it's been nice to be able to show them love and have it reflected back, you know.
Can I tell you something hilarious?
Sure.
About my son? He's been dancing at drum circles.
Right.
On his walks with his dad, he goes out and there's a drum circle in our town around that time. So he just goes over and he's dancing at drum circles every night.
Well, that's what his heart wants. His heart wants to beat.
This is so my child. Like,
yeah. Well, he's got the heart of a dancer. You know, he's got to get it out, get that expression out. You know, I'm with him. I dance all the time. So anyway, guys, we hope you enjoyed our laid back, crazy, throat chakra filled malfunction issue. And if you have a topic you want to suggest and you want us to do an episode of, hit us up, send us a comment or a message at rebelcrowpsychicshow.com. Our podcast is available. We upload an episode once a week. You can find us on YouTube or on all major podcasting platforms at Rebel Crow Psychic Show. We're also on Instagram and Facebook. If you would like to have a tarot reading or a mediumship reading with me, you can find my website is readingswithathenasilver.com. I'm on Facebook at Readings with Athena Silver and on Instagram at athena.silver. Where can they find you, Anja?
I'm on Facebook and Instagram at Anja River, ANJARIVER, and I do readings as well, tarot readings. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you can send me a direct message, you know.
Same here. Anyway, next week we will have our regular podcast type, you know, talking about another topic. But we wanted to...
Right? I thought this was good.
I thought it was too. It was nice just chit-chatting, talking about this and that and what's going on in the world. That, you know, it's been fun. But, you know, next time we'll do a regular podcast episode and have a topic and, you know, and a bunch of information and all of that like we usually do. But it was a good break.
Yeah.
Anyway, we wish you guys all the love and prosperity in the world. Take care of yourselves, and we will see you back here next week. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.